This week's episode is brought to you by Heather Cull, who requested the featured movie on our Facebook page. Heather's actually a friend of mine. We used to work together years ago. She is super cool and is one of the biggest movie fans I've ever known. Thank you very much for the suggestion, Heather. If you have a movie you'd like us to cover, like Heather did, we're going to tell you all the ways you can do that at the end of the episode. And now, on with the show. Welcome to episode 46 of the Graveyard Shift, where each week we watch a movie from the horror category, put on our bladed gloves, and carve it up into the good, the bad, and sometimes the downright confusing. We'll talk about the plot, some production details, and anything else we think is fun or relevant. I'm your host Sheldon, and I never worked the Graveyard Shift alone. Please say hello to the guy whose dreams are so maniacal even Freddy Krueger wouldn't go near them, my co-host Mike.
Hey everybody.
And how are you today, my friend?
Pretty darn good. I got to part of my new health regimen. I am doing a lot more work on the treadmill, and I got to watch this movie while being on the treadmill, so I don't know which had my heart racing more. But it didn't race too much and burst and kill me, so yay.
Well, that's always a good start to an exercise routine, that you didn't die. So
yep, it shows that you didn't do it too much. Not like that guy that just said, "Oh, jogging is great, like jogging helped me drop 300 pounds, and then he died while jogging."
Yeah, exactly. Well, since we've already alluded to it a little bit, why don't you tell everyone what we've got in store this week?
Today's episode is Group Scare-apy, because we watched Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors.
We certainly did, and here's some info on this week's movie. Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors, is an American slasher movie and is the third movie in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Certainly hard to tell by the title. It's written by original creator, the late Wes Craven, who came back to the series after the critical failure of Part 2. It stars Heather Langenkamp, Robert Englund, both reprising their roles as Nancy and Freddy Krueger, plus Patricia Arquette, excuse me, not Atricia, and Lawrence Fishburne. The movie has a runtime of 96 minutes, perfect, had a budget of $4.5 million, and had a box office return of approximately $45 million. So not bad at all. As for the plot, a psychiatrist familiar with the bladed glove demon Freddy Krueger helps teens at a mental hospital battle the killer who is invading their dreams. Now, this is the first Nightmare on Elm Street movie we covered on the show, so you're probably wondering why we started at number 3. It's, I know Mike certainly was, but it's simply because unless we have a theme or a special event happening, the movies we watch, they're just listener requests, like this one was, and we do them in the order that we receive them. Unless it's a request from a Patreon sponsor, which gets priority. And anyway, after we talked about it...
Nudge, wink, wink.
Exactly. Patreon.com/graveyard. Besides, I really don't think we are spoiling anything. These movies have been around since the 80s, and I'm sure most horror fans already are quite familiar with them. And even if you haven't seen them, I'm pretty sure you know who Freddy Krueger is. And that's pretty much all the backstory you need. So, there.
Yeah, you can if you want to know where he got his powers, he made a deal with the Ark of the Covenant.
If you really want to know where, then just, watch them. Or if you are familiar with them, you want us to cover them, then get those requests in. So, Mike, without giving too much away, what do you think of this one?
Well, it was definitely better than the homoerotic thriller that preceded it.
Yeah, I really like this one. Definitely one of my favorites in the series. There's a few in the series that I don't care for at all. This one, the original, and New Nightmare are definitely the highlights. So, anyway, we're going to get into what we liked and didn't like about this. We're going to talk about the good and the bad parts. And these can be anything we liked or didn't like, no matter how specific or broad. This is where we get to let loose. And we always start with the good, and we always start with the Mike. So, Mike, tell me something you liked about this movie.
Oh, what I was swept away with was the well, I think I may be stealing your bit, was the practical effects.
Mm-hmm. I have it on my list, of course, but you go ahead.
Like, we get to see like the melting tricycle, we get to see like walls exploding, rugs being shifted, when Freddy turns into a little marionette, or when he's commanding the kid to go through walls and then like lead him up to the ledge by his tendons. Ugh. Everything was, it was excellent.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, were there any practical effects that you happen to enjoy specifically?
Everything. This whole thing was a fucking, like, just... It was like watching a magic show.
Absolutely.
And it definitely had some highlights. I mean, yes, the tricycle leaving a trail of blood and then just melting was just pretty good. I liked a lot of the effects that he did. This is like very similar to the first one in the fact that when they're in the dreamland, layouts of things don't make sense. Like, you can jump through a window of a house and end up like in a completely different area. So really like that. That's always very trippy. It's one of the things I loved about the Nightmare on Elm Street series. Highlight for me, just because I'm a sucker for it, we got treated to some really good stop-motion animation. You mentioned the Freddy marionette. That was awesome. And then the fight with Freddy's skeleton in the real world. Just anything with some nice stop-motion animation is just fantastic. So, yeah, good way to start off, for sure. Like, this was, like I said, this was a special effects showcase. And it was done really well. So, first thing I had on my list for the good was the return of the Dream Killer storyline. After our departure from the whole Freddy's gonna kill you in your sleep thing in part 2, because part 2 took a really weird turn, I like that they went back to what was laid out in the original. Not that there's anything wrong with trying something new in a horror series. Like, you don't want to just have the same old shtick over and over again. But try something new within the rules that are established in the beginning. And part 3 just does that nicely. It sticks to those rules, like the whole, like, you fall asleep, Freddy's going to come and try to kill you, visit you a few times, make you nice and scared first so you kind of know what's coming, because he kind of, feeds on the fear type of thing. But stick within those rules, but then kind of just expand out a little. And they did a great job with this.
Indeed.
So what else you got for the good?
I have to say, great use of Nancy. Like, she had a great reintroduction. As soon as she hears like the nursery rhyme, like, that's when you realize, like they don't waste much time. She immediately realizes she's being brought back in. Mm-hmm. And she was a likable character, very intelligent, knew how to help the kids, had the usual hero's struggle of, like, well-meaning idiots stopping her.
Yeah.
And, doing whatever she could to keep the kids alive. It was a good return.
It was a great way to bring Nancy back into the series. Being a few years later, she's now educated. She's a psychiatrist. What a great way to get her back into the movie series. But also, you're right, like, just that very first scene that you see her too, like, just Patricia Arquette's character is having a bit of a freak out, starts saying the nursery rhyme, and then all of a sudden you just hear, without even seeing her first, you just hear Nancy like join in with the nursery rhyme.
Yeah, she finishes it.
And then it just pans to her, and it was pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, she was such a scared victim, like, only learning about Freddy in the first movie, and by the end she's like, a little battle hardened, but she's still frantic and, like, hoping that this plan will work. Exactly. And then when she comes back, she's already got, but instead she doesn't even try to do the same old plan, like, okay, we need to bring him into the real world and cut him up with some scalpels or shit. No, like, well, she kind of goes off the rails, and I'll save that for later.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. Like, it was instead of just like, oh, so I defeated Freddy in the first movie and now I get to take it easy. No, she's basically been in training just in case it happens again.
Yeah,
She's doing
she's
her, majoring in sleep research.
taking her pills.
Yeah, testing out these experimental drugs so you could sleep without dreaming. So, yeah, I just liked it. It was just a great way to reintroduce Nancy, for sure.
Yeah, she had a plan. She has like strategies. She came prepared.
Yeah.
So what about you?
Well, next on a good list, this kind of expands into what I said at the beginning, like playing within the same rules as the original. The whole dream, dying in your dream type of thing. You go to sleep, Freddy's coming at you, but expanding on it. So I thought it was a nice touch of giving one of the characters the ability to pull others into her dreams. It made for a team effort when it came to battling Freddy. Something different from the first movie, so it's not just one person. The last girl, the final survivor, taking him on it's actually a bit of a team effort. So, just a great way, and then finding out, and also giving the explanation of how he managed to survive, being killed the first times, because it turns out you didn't actually kill him. There's kind of a method that there's something else that needs to be done in order to take care of him for good.
At least until the fourth.
And until they needed more money, right?
One thing I liked is expanding on the lore of Freddy himself, where the nurse tells the story about the bastard son of 100 maniacs.
Yes. That I had that on my list as well, so yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so the guy who's not Judge Reinhold is walking around and he sees a nun, and she explains the story of Freddy that his mother was raped as she was accidentally locked in during a storm, and the inmates just took her and hid her for a couple of weeks while just, raping the ever-loving hell out of her. And by the time they found her, she was extremely traumatized and up to duff.
Mm-hmm. She was with child.
Yeah, but apparently a servant of God just can't raise a bad seed.
So wait, this is the guy you're talking about, the guy, the therapist, right? You had him as not Judge Reinhold. I got him as not Bill Maher.
We have no idea who he is. We just know who he's not.
We know who he's not, but kind of resembles. So. Yeah, so that's good. It's nice to get a little backstory, even if the son of 1,000 maniacs. That's not really how biology works, but whatever. That's besides the point.
The thing is that it's not like they all coalesce to make one kid. It's just that she got raped like 100 different guys. So she said literally hundreds of times. Like, she's not exaggerating. So you just have no idea who the hell which one of the lucky ones in that pail of jizz actually hit the mark.
Yeah. It's funny because you see in one of the later movies too, you actually see a little bit of that. You actually see like a flashback to it. And Robert Englund plays one of the, of course, Robert Englund, I don't think I need to say it, but I'm going to anyway, who plays Freddy Krueger. He actually plays one of the inmates as well.
Well, at least in that movie, then it's established who hit the mark.
Yeah, I guess so. So, yeah, it was good. I had that in my notes as well. Like that, it was good actually to get a little bit of backstory, just to find out. I guess if you want to be realistic, it doesn't explain why Freddy Krueger is Freddy Krueger. Why, how it came about.
Well, he was conceived in violence and trauma, so.
Yeah,
I guess
also not how biology works, but this is not a movie where you want to argue about what's realistic or not. So, but yeah, no, it was good. I like that. I like seeing some a little bit of an origin story there. So, what I've got next on the list is that this one had a nice mix. Like, it's mostly horror. It had a little bit of humor thrown in. Freddy had some pretty good quips and some fitting kills without being too over the top.
It was funny, but not wacky.
Yeah, and this is before, like I said, this was one of the better movies in the series before things got way too silly. When he didn't say bitch 27 times.
Only 6.
He was still scary in this one. Which, to me, like later in the series after this one, is like the movies really stopped being scary. And at first, I watched these movies first when I was a kid. And I thought that maybe they stopped being scary because, I'd gotten older and was used to seeing a lot of horror movies that didn't quite have the same effect. And I may have been a little desensitized. But after watching them all again as an adult, I realized, no, it actually just stopped being scary.
Was it the next movie that had him, a girl swimming and you see his claws come out like Jaws?
It may have been. Honestly, like 4, 5, and 6 are kind of a blur to me. I find it really hard to differentiate between them. I recognize like certain scenes, but some of these scenes I can't tell you which actual movie they're from.
I'd have to see them again because I kind of like the fact that Freddy was silly. Like, it's like a villain. Like usually, like there's some hateful, serious thing that they're on a mission, but no.
And
I liked
fine.
it. I liked it that he loved his work.
No, and that's fine. And I mean, you could tell that in this one too. Like, I mean, they obviously like he has some good quips, some great one-liners, and I mean, probably one of the best one-liners from any of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. But I'm not going to say what it is, just in case you have it on your good list. I don't want to steal it.
Yeah, but it'll be coming up.
Yeah, so that's what I thought. So, but like it's better to be like, hey, like this guy is super scary, kills you in creative ways, but like makes one funny like little quip as he's about to do it. Not like just being like a fucking Joker the whole way through. And that's why I kind of lost the like of the series when the further it went. So, but these were on point. Like the ones in this movie were done really well. Freddy was a little bit like psychotic and scary with just a little sprinkle of humor, and that's the way I liked it.
Yeah, when he turns into that poltergeist worm and tries to eat Kristen.
Yeah. See, that's how you do it.
And there was like the great acting. I believed everyone in this movie. Like
everybody?
Well, most of them.
Okay.
Like they really expressed that sense of urgency or fear. Yeah. Like I believed them.
Well, I'm glad you believed them.
And there were some great lines. Like where the black kid, what was his name? Dwayne something?
Sure. I don't know. I don't remember. Besides Nancy, I don't remember any of their names.
Yeah, where he's just like, let's kick that motherfucker's ass all over Dreamland.
Yeah. He was pretty... I actually liked him, yeah.
Yeah, so there was good lines in that. But yep. We'll get to one that really tugged on my heart later.
Yeah, and I'm just going to... I won't go into too much detail, but the kills were good. Some were very fitting to each individual victim. They had a few that were just like some simple stab kills, but even though like the simple ones were still well done, the highlights were definitely the sleepwalking marionette. And one that I'm just going to call, your big break in TV. And I'll let you do the rest. So, good kills. Like, it was... this was the first time that you actually saw some, like, kills that really were personal. That fit the person's personality or, like, some aspect of them. So, great. Great job.
And I'm about done for the goods.
Oh, really?
Oh, wait. I like the credits. A good intro. It was quick and had a rockin' soundtrack by Dawkins, which apparently has been around since 1979 and still exists to this day. It wasn't some flash-in-the-pan group. They had a strong rocking intro, very Stan Bush level quality of energy, and apparently they've been killing it for like nearly 40 years.
Yeah, would you say killing it?
Well, their career maybe, but
Yeah.
like I don't know why they're like if all their songs were as good as Dream Warriors, then I can't imagine why they don't get work.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd have to listen to other songs of theirs to be like, oh, that's why.
Yeah. I do remember that, I think it was my sister had a cassette with like their, it wasn't a Nightmare on Elm Street soundtrack, but it was like Dawkins' album that had the song Dream Warriors on it. And I remember listening to it just because I heard it in this movie, and I don't remember anything else about any other song on the album. Okay, so that was it for you for the good?
Yep.
Yeah, I think we hit on all the parts, everything that I want to say about why I liked it. All right, so I guess we'll just go straight into the bad. And since you started off with the good, I'll start with the bad. And I'm going to go immediately right against one of your good points, and that is the acting. There was some good acting in it. I'm not going to say everybody was bad. I'll even go as far as saying for the most part, the acting was pretty good. But man, some of it was bad.
Who struck you? Who struck you?
Okay, I'm even going to say Heather Langenkamp, who I liked in the first movie, just seemed a little off in this one. She spoke in a way that was very slow.
She was way too calm given the nature of what she was facing.
And I don't know. After I wrote this, I was like, her acting seemed like a step down compared to the first movie. But then I'm thinking like, hey, you know what? She's taking these drugs that like kind of alters her sleep stage. Maybe they were kind of playing up on that a little bit, because that's the way she kind of came off to me, like she was, a little bit buzzed throughout the whole thing. So maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. I didn't find anything on that doing my research. That's the reason why. But she just seemed a little off. Like sometimes it really didn't seem like she cared if she was there or not.
Well, yeah, you could say it was the meds. I mean, like
Yeah.
if Freddy preys on fear, then keeping her out of a fearful state could be part of what's protecting her, or at least kept her out of his notice.
I think
That's
probably
stretching.
the worst acting was probably during the scene when they were first having the group dream and realizing their dream powers. Oh my god, some of these lines how they were delivered was, Mike, it was fucking atrocious. The guy, the Dungeons and Dragons guy, when I'm in my dream, I dream that I'm a wizard.
Yeah, that whole I have like, oh, it's like I can walk. That's my dream. Like, bitch, you're in a dream. How about you fly?
But just like whatever the dream was, I mean, like sure, like maybe somebody that's in a wheelchair, that would be a great dream that they can walk now. But just the way the lines were delivered was so bad. It was like the lowest of the low budget after school special acting.
Yeah, the junkie girl, she seemed to have good delivery. Like, she looked like someone who was truly like damaged and
See,
isolated.
this is what bugs me, because throughout the rest of the movie I actually liked her, but when she first, that again was they were discovering her dream powers, and
I'm a badass.
Oh, in my dreams I'm beautiful and bad. I'm like, oh my god, Wes, what are you doing, man?
Like, you were already gorgeous before, and having like a 2-foot mohawk doesn't make you beautiful. It makes you like bitching. But
yeah, but it was just the line itself I found was just bad. It was just I don't know, just that in particular, and everything. So that was the worst. I think like there was a few lines that were delivered kind of like made me kind of cringe a little bit, but just that particular scene made me just cringe a lot right there. And the kid, the wheelchair kid, throughout, he was probably the weakest link of all of them when it came to acting. I did not care for him at all.
Well, and, luckily you didn't have to deal with him at the end.
No, that's for sure. And I'll talk about him again in a little while, but yeah, definitely the acting on his part was bad, and some of the lines were delivered very poorly. But anyway, what do you got for the bad?
The topless scene with that nurse, which would have been a good thing, except when she like starts tonguing the kid, and then she like starts laughing, and then it just immediately cuts, and we see Freddy like he like steps into the frame, like it's like she just disappears, and it's like it wasn't Freddy, but like she served her purpose as an illusion and disappeared, and Freddy walks in, which I had a problem with. It's like I thought that it would be Freddy himself.
Like, so you wanted Freddy to make out with the kid?
Well, I wanted to see Freddy with tits.
Why would you want to see that?
It's a horror movie. It's supposed to be disturbing.
Yeah, but Jesus Christ.
I mean, if she's making out with him, and then she starts laughing and then stands up, and then her head morphs into Freddy like the puppet, and it's like Robert Englund with tits just laughing.
Wow.
That
I think we've uncovered like something about you tonight, Mike.
I don't know. Maybe I just wanted to see wacky Freddy, and that just made me. Just that thought was so hilarious. I'm just like, why did they miss this opportunity?
Oh God.
I mean, like, can you think of a bigger nightmare for this kid? If he does survive, he will never want to make out with a girl again.
No. He'd gouge out his eyes for sure.
It's like every time he looks at Playboy, all he'd see is like the face get a little scorched and give him a wink and laugh, and he'd be like, "Fuck no."
Yep. Wow. That has unnerved me. That's my brain is trying to create that image, and another part of my brain is trying to snuff it out very quickly. Holy shit.
Yeah, it turns out that that lady, she didn't get much work afterwards. She was on an episode of Married with Children. But, like, with a body like that, I can't believe she wasn't, like, at least, like, standard naked chick for, like, 40 other movies in the 80s. Because, I mean, banging body, come on. And pretty face. This girl was just...
Yeah,
this girl was something.
Cute. Okay, so next on my bad list... I don't know what I'm trying to get over more. The fact that... you were trying to imagine like Freddy Krueger with boobs, or just the fact that you started off your bad list with talking about like the hot naked nurse.
Well, so, just like this movie, I like to take the old formula and work it around a bit.
Okay, so next I got on my bad list is Dr. Gordon. Not Bill Maher or Judge Reinhold. He's the fucking worst therapist ever. So, after the tendon marionette death, where they think, this kid was sleepwalking or committed suicide, he tells the kids after, Philip was his name, after his death, that he was a loser and a coward because he quit. He couldn't take it. It's like,
suicide
you don't
is
say
for
that
pussies.
to a bunch of suicidal kids. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, he took the easy way out because he was a puss.
Okay, the very basic, bit of any type of psychology education you would have when it comes to dealing with people that could be potentially suicidal is you never tell them anything like that.
No, like you say, like they faced a struggle and they lost. Like, it's like the hardest, like for pretty much most people, it's the hardest thing anybody has to do, but like their pain is that bad. So... you think it'd be like, we have to make sure that we can trust each other and that, we're not alone. Like, build up all the other kids and go like, we have to do our part to make sure we don't feel his isolation. Like, acknowledge that he was a victim of something.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not even. I'm not just him. I'm just going to chalk it up as that. All of the medical care in general in this movie was fucking questionable. They obviously didn't actually have like somebody that worked in a mental hospital or like was a licensed psychologist on hand to be a consultant, because there is no way that they would have said like, yeah, this is what actually happens in a mental hospital. This is the way things are conducted.
Yeah, that little fruit pushed out. Like, no, you don't friggin' no.
Yeah. And
you
then,
don't
like,
you don't shit talk the dead.
And trying to tell them, like, they all come in, like, when they're all admitted, they all, like, say before even meeting each other and can, kind of compare stories or, like, come up with a group story, they all talk about being chased in their dreams by the same person.
And nobody thought that was weird, that, like,
and
these people who
nobody thought that was odd. And then you got this, I don't even know what to call her, the lead psychologist, I guess, the lead doctor, saying that, this is just a result, a manifestation of their own, like, guilt and hypersexuality. What? Are you fucking stupid?
Yeah, and telling Nancy and Reinhold that they're fucking fired for talking with the kids. It's like 2 of them are dead, one's in a coma at this point. And, like, it's clear that they haven't taken their... Like, she's talking about, like, you prescribed Hypnocil for these kids, and it's like, it's clear that they didn't take it, because if they did, Freddy wouldn't be in their dreams. So, obviously, the drugs haven't arrived yet, the prescriptions haven't gone through, and already she's being given the flack for this thing that nobody's done yet.
Yeah.
It's almost as if horror movies just don't favor the mental care industry.
Yeah, imagine that. All right, so what else you got on your bad list?
Well, now we got to talk about the bad parts of Nancy.
All right.
She, like, you thought her acting was a little muted, but I say she had a more egregious sin. She is full of shit, telling them all that they all have special powers. Where the fuck did she get this idea from?
Mm-hmm.
She never witnessed other people in their dreams. It's not like Kristen took her and said, "Oh yeah, I've been watching everybody's dreams since I've been here. Here's what Dougie does. He walks around in his chair, and here's what the black guy does. He's like, he's the Incredible Black, and here's this girl who her like, what the hell? No." All she does is she knows that one person has an actual power to pull people into dreams. Everyone else in these so-called warriors are a bunch of, like, wish fulfillment posers, as evidenced by their uselessness in dealing with Freddy.
Yeah.
Puppet Master and TV Girl didn't even get powers. They just got victimized right off the bat. And, the former junkie, I got news for you. Holding a stiletto and having a mohawk aren't powers.
Yeah, really.
And the wizard dick literally runs to the dream demon, instead of using his industrial light and magic powers and keeping a distance. He just thinks, like, I'm going to run up to him with my lightning. Yeah. And he thought it was...
I've got it written in my notes as his power is... 80s animated lightning.
It's true. And
cartoon lightning.
He runs right up to Freddy instead of, like, keeping his distance from him. And of course Freddy just lets him know, like, spoiler alert, this house isn't clean.
Yeah.
And your shitty special effects aren't going to save you.
And it's funny, yeah, because, okay, I'm going to mention that, like, you can finish yours, but just for the bad... I didn't know what to put this in, like, if the bad or the what the fuck column, but what the hell is he wearing when he get turned into the wizard?
Well, I sent you.
Yeah.
Do you remember the picture I sent you?
I'm like, what the hell? Are you wearing, like, a cloak that you got off, like, I don't know, like a Grandpa Munster Macy's Day Parade float or something? What the fuck is that?
You know what? I think he got it from that scientist from Trick or Treats.
Oh my god, yeah.
Count Drakenstein? That's who
Holy
this guy
shit.
is.
It looked ridiculous anyway. I don't even know what
Fuck,
the
he
hell
had
was going
he had
on
like
there.
this Count Floyd cape. This cape exceeded his fucking head. You know how capes usually have like a bit of a shoulder, like a bit of
Oh
a bit of
yeah,
flare
like
at the neck?
when he had this costume on, he looked like he was about 4 feet wide.
Yeah, this was terrible. Like, I just thought this kid cannot be the hero of the. No, wait, he isn't. Okay, good.
No, and he didn't even get like he just got one of the simple stab deaths because there's like this kid is such a disposable character. We're not even giving him like a personalized death.
Oh my god, that I think like there may have been sued if like Freddy put on his own wizard hat and he's called himself like Gandalf the Corpse or Gandalf the Pink or something.
Well, yeah, which that's what he should have did. Had like a wizard fight.
That would have been great, like the Raven, where they're both like shooting at each other with like lightning, and then he just decides to shoot the blades off of his fingers and like stab the kid from afar.
Yeah, could have been anything. Or you get, I don't know, something fitting. Like he get crushed by like a fucking dragon dice or something.
Oh man, that would have been great if he was thrown into a giant board, and like Freddy rolls the dice and hops him around and like slams him into the ground, and then like he slams him into like a like an orc. That may have been a little too expensive. That might have made the budget like $4.5 million.
Yeah.
Or Freddy turns into a dragon and roasts him. That would have been fucking great.
Yeah, anything. Like he runs up to Freddy. Freddy picks him up and stabs him. Like then it's done. So
Yeah, he's like, I don't believe in that fairy tale shit.
Okay, so you got anything else for the bad?
One more. And this was one of your likes, and it was the green screen stop motion battle with Freddy killing the sheriff. To me, seeing him take these two guys out, it looked like the Three Stooges. Because he grabbed the sheriff by the nuts and the neck, throwing him into the fin of a caddy, and then he gives the other guy, he gives George Reinhold an overhead a slam on the head with the shovel, and then he spins around and knocks him into the grave. Like, I'm expecting him to go like, oh, a wise guy, huh? Yuck, yuck, yuck.
I like that, honestly. It reminded me of like Jason and the Argonauts, like the skeleton battle, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
But
I mean, like, when he slashes the guy, and he's like, and he just has that open-eyed face, like, oh, like he just got deuced in the eyes. And then he slams on, then he bangs him on top of the head with a shovel, and then knocks him into the grave. It was just like, this is Three Stooges right here.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to disagree on that one, but I do have something on my bad list that pertains to that scene. So, I know that I said earlier that one of the good things I liked about this is that after like a departure from the from what was established in part 1 when they did part 2, now in part 3 they kind of went back into that, like, but they did depart from the rules established in part 1 in one way, because now Freddy can just leave the dream world and possess his skeleton whenever he wants. He figured out someone was messing with a skeleton, and he just disappears at dream world, possesses it in the real world, and starts attacking people. He can do that?
That's my what the fuck.
Oh, really?
Is that he has bone-possessing powers in the real world when it was established that in the real world he's just a mortal dude.
Yep. It's, It breaks the rule of, like, where Nancy beat him in the first movie by pulling him out of dream world, where now he's just mortal and he could be hurt, like, injured by like, conventional means.
How did she kill him in the first movie?
Oh my god, let's see, trying to remember because it's been so fucking long, but I know she did a lot of damage to him. She set up a bunch of booby traps. It was like Home Alone for a little while. But geez, why can't I remember that? I'm trying to remember what the fatal kill was.
Yeah, and if she did kill him, what did she do with his body?
Yeah, my god, I can't believe I'm forgetting that. That is kind of embarrassing, actually. But, yeah, like, that just seems so weird that, like, that came out of nowhere. Like, because really, if he could do that, then he could go kill people in real life just by possessing a skeleton and like just walk around as a skeleton and find some people in the real world and just kill them like that. So I don't know. That just seemed very odd to me, and I'm like, you just kind of broke your own rules there, Wessie boy. So that was it for you for the bad?
Yep.
And I've kind of ruined your what the fuck, so... So we do have another category that we've put in things that were just confusing or just didn't make sense or just made us say what the fuck because it just seems so ridiculous. So you already got Mike's, the whole Freddy possessing his skeleton in the real world, and I got one that baffled me right from the first time that the first time I saw this movie, way back when I was a kid. And it still does. After watching this movie again now, like years later, I still find it amazing. So Nancy and not Bill Maher get fired because, I quote, since she arrived, they've had 2 suicides and 1 patient is in a coma.
Which shows how great medical professionals they are when they resort to medieval level accusations. Ooh, yes. The new girl showed up. An outsider came. Then bad times happened.
Yeah, so... But my problem is, okay, the sleepwalking guy, like, he didn't kill himself. Like, Freddy turned him into a marionette using his own tendons and then, like, walked him off the ledge of a building.
Oh,
but of course...
Great.
Fucking awesome kill. So good. But of course, to anyone else that's not seen Freddy Krueger, yeah, absolutely, that would look like a suicide. So I kind of get that first one. But let's talk about something we'll just call the primetime kill. You do a better job of this. Why don't you do, before I go into my what the fuck, why don't you describe the kill to everyone?
Well, we get to see this girl who's not Renee Zellweger in the break room watching TV, and then we get to see Dick Cavett interviewing Zsa Zsa Gabor, and then wait, hold on, are we just gonna break into my kill of the week then, or because that's what it is?
Oh, because I can't do my what the fuck without kind of like explaining.
Okay, so I'll just preface it then. Okay, 3, 2, 1. And then eventually, Zsa Zsa Gabor gets yelled at by Dick Cavett, who says, like, who cares what the fuck you think? And then he turns into Krueger, and then he lunges at her, and then the TV cuts out.
Which was also friggin' amazing. I laughed so hard at that.
It's like, I can't believe, like, I wonder how many times Dick Cavett had to apologize to Zsa Zsa afterwards, saying, like, I'm so sorry. Please don't hit me. I know you do that. And that's when when she, again, so stupid, this girl, who apparently has a power that she doesn't know about and never gets to use, thanks Nancy, dumbass, she ends up walking to the TV instead of realizing, oh shit, that boogeyman showed up on it, I'm gonna get the fuck out the room. No, she walks up to the TV, starts rapping on it, and that's when hands burst out, grab her, lift her up, and then we get to see Freddy's head emerge. Like, what's that thing like where a head like doesn't come, like where it's like wrapped in a film and it's like protruding through something? Is there a name for that? Because we see it in like the Frighteners, where it's like a face is like coming from the wall, like a face is in the wall but not coming out of the wall.
Yeah.
Anyway, Freddy's face does that as it like emerges from the TV, and then it's got the antenna on top of his head, so he looks like Mork, yeah. Or the Great Gazoo. And then he tells, what was her name? Jennifer, Sandy.
Sure.
So he goes like, "Hey, Danica, this is your big break in TV. Welcome to prime time, bitch!" And then he pulls her into the TV head first.
Yes. So, and her name was Jennifer. Yeah, I had in my notes. So, great fucking kill. Like, iconic. Easily on the list of, like, Freddy Krueger's best kills. Okay, so. And then she gets discovered by the orderly, just body just hanging there, like, head inside the TV and just hanging there limp. Which is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But, okay. But this is the thing. This is my what the fuck. So, like I said, Nancy and not Bill Maher get fired because since she arrived, they had 2 suicides. They think that's a suicide!
Yeah, as if like this 90-pound girl can lift herself up to a TV level and with enough force in one strike smash her head through the glass of a television.
So what did he think? Like she got like a running start and just leapt like head first into the TV? What? Why would you think that's a suicide? Like at the very least, you would think like, holy shit, somebody killed this girl by, like, picking her up and smashing her head into the TV screen, which is still, like, a fucking feat to accomplish.
Yeah, this is a massive feat of strength.
But they called it a suicide? Seriously?
Yeah, like, this didn't make them go, oh, we have a fucking murderer in the hall. No.
Oh my god, yeah, that's just amazing. I remember as a kid watching this movie, and it's like, why would they think that's a way somebody kills himself? These people are obviously too stupid to be in the position that they're in. So, yeah, that just, like, without a doubt, I had to put that as soon as I heard that line again. I'm like, yep, that's what they said. They're calling it a suicide. This is definitely a what the fuck.
Yeah, their ability to not discern anything they witness. It's like, nope, this little girl managed to hoist herself up and slam her head into a TV and somehow not, like, be, like, holding on to the like, how the hell she managed this? Like, nope.
Yeah.
She's dead. She was alone. It's suicide.
Mm-hmm. Unbelievable. I can't believe that, have like a murder investigation. Just say that, like, they're searching for a murderer. They had to put the place on lockdown or something because obviously there's a murderer within there somewhere.
Yeah. Like falsely accuse the black guy or something. Like, just do what they do in movies normally when the shit happens.
Yeah.
Have the orderly be the MacGuffin.
Well, yeah, or like do like they did in the first movie where they had like one of the kids, one of the Freddy's victims first was blamed for the murder of Nancy's friend. So yeah, I just couldn't believe that they thought that this would be something plausible, that somebody killed themselves by smashing their own face through a TV screen. Not just like smashing their face, but like somehow smashing their face through a TV screen that's like 8 feet off the ground. Wow,
yeah, it's elevated to avoid that shit.
Yeah, oh my god, just could not believe that. Anyway, that's probably one of the biggest what the fucks for me ever. Okay, so I got a feeling I know which one you're gonna go with, but no matter what, gotta let you do it anyway. Maybe I'll be wrong. I don't think I am, but Mike, I can't wait to find out what you've got for a certain segment that you like to do.
Yes, it is time for my kill of the week. And, well, it's no surprise to anybody. It is the iconic "Welcome to Primetime, bitch!" Where she gets her literal break into TV. Like, it was just an excellent piece of dialogue. Freddy Krueger with those antennae on his head, like nanu. Yeah. And, again, like Zsa Zsa Gabor getting cussed out by Dick Cavett. It was just, like, there were so many great kills in this. Like, again, that the kid with a fatal case of tendinitis.
Mm-hmm.
And the wizard finding out that his powers ain't all that. And the junkie getting her final high.
That was a good one too. I like that. That was pretty. That was pretty creepy. The track marks all of a sudden turning into little like gaping mouths.
Thirsty for that sweet juice.
Yeah.
And then Freddy's face, like that was great acting on his part when he gets the needles in her and he's the one getting off.
Oh yeah, when he injects her and he's just got this totally euphoric look on his face.
Yeah, but it's got to go to primetime bitch.
Definitely.
But yeah, there were so many other, like the fuck. Yeah, like her like the badass with the mohawk and the stilettos. It's kind of a letdown. Like she gives Freddy a few kicks. And it's like, but then as soon as he shows the needles, you think she'd be like, "No, I'm stronger than that now." Because she turns down an orderly who's a fucking asshole, telling her that he's got the key to the dispenser and he's ready to get high. And so you think that she would, like in her dream, that she would resist these drugs. Or just be like, I'm stronger than that now, and like smash the syringes. Like, put up something. Like, these are supposed to be the Dream Warriors, but they're all a bunch of fucking chumps.
Yeah, I mean, like this Mohawk girl, she got a few licks in, but really did nothing.
I know, and she just stood there waiting to get stabbed.
Yeah. But that's what he kind of does. Like, she's got this fear of, like, you know, going back into the habit again, and this is what Freddy does. He preys on your fears. So I guess that's why she, you know, bringing out the drugs, he knew that was going to have a reaction with her. And that's what I tell myself anyway to make it plausible. So
I know, like if you're gonna kill her, fine, but you know, you could have had like a bit of triumph in her character.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, I didn't like the black guy. You could have gotten rid of him. Like, oh, my power, I'm strong, and I mouth off a lot.
You heard it there, folks. Mike doesn't like black guys. So, so you know, there's one thing we did not talk about in this movie, and that's Lawrence Fishburne. And so I'm going to tell you my theory in this. My theory is that Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors, is actually a prequel to The Matrix. This is Morpheus before he was Morpheus, when he still had no idea what The Matrix was, and this is just him living out his normal life. He's an orderly in a mental institute. And Freddy Krueger he's just a person as well, and he's in, you know, one of the little battery boxes that people are in all hooked up, but he actually, you know, his brain, he is psychotic and a killer. But
and the machines don't know how to control that.
Yeah.
They function in logic, so they don't understand madness.
Well, he's kind of like the characters from the Matrix that figure out that they can kind of bend or break some of the rules in the virtual world, and this is the virtual world this is his powers in the Matrix. And
to affect people's realities when they're in their most mentally vulnerable, when they're in fake sleep.
That's right. So yeah, so there you go. Like Freddy kind of has powers, kind of like Neo and the rest of like these people that know they're in a virtual world, and this is what he does.
And Morpheus is awakened when he sees all these people dying through unrealistic means. That's when he starts to realize reality may be mutable.
Yeah. So there you go. That's it.
And he starts popping the red pills in the dispensary.
There, you see? So this movie is a prequel to The Matrix. There you go. The Matrix has a prequel. Make sure you tell everyone that.
You heard it here on Theory Time.
So yeah, so overall, that was a great kill, my great pick. That's the one I would have went with as well. And just great movie. Like, out of the series, like, a lot of people say that this is their favorite in the series, and I think there's a good argument to be made for that. I highly recommend it. I think if I'm going to pick, I don't think it's necessary to see all of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. You can. I know there's big fans of the entire series. Mike, you said that you actually quite enjoy the movies after this one. But if I was going to tell somebody, recommend, the Nightmare on Elm Street series, I would go 1, 3, and New Nightmare. That's all you need. Nothing else. But you could tell that, after the not so great entry that number 2 was. It was really good to have Wes Craven back for this one. But, yeah, because you know the story about part 2, right? That he served as executive director, or executive producer, sorry, on number 2, and after he actually saw the movie, the first screening of it, he told him to take his name off of it, because he was so disappointed with the outcome.
How was he not disappointed in the beginning?
Oh, the beginning was great. It's a dream sequence on the bus, right?
Oh, didn't it end on a bus?
It did. It ended the same way it began, yeah. So, but yeah, they actually had a hard time getting him to come back for this, for number 3 after what number 2 turned out to be. So, you know, we're pretty lucky, Mike. Like, we know some people in the business, we've got some connections out there, and we call in favors every now and again. And our connections, they're really good at finding some very obscure stuff when it comes to the movies we watch. And I just got this. I know you haven't heard about it because I literally got this before we started recording. But one of our connections actually got me a piece of audio. No idea how it was recorded, but somehow they got audio of a phone conversation between one of the executives at New Line Cinema and Wes Craven.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it actually plays out. It actually shows how they got him to come back and be the writer on part 3. And I think it would make the perfect segment for our It Came from the Cutting Room Floor.
Hello?
Wes, how are you?
Oh, hi, Phil. I'm good. And you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking.
So, to what do I owe the pleasure of your call?
Oh, just checking up. We haven't spoken in a while.
Yeah, not since that last meeting about Nightmare 2.
Yeah, that's right. So, what you doing?
Look, Phil, I'm kind of busy right now.
Yeah? Working on something?
It's a horror movie about a masked killer obsessed with horror movies, and it honors the genre while, poking fun of it at the same time. I'm thinking about calling it Shriek or Yell or Stab or something.
Oh, sounds interesting.
Yeah, well, I better get back to it or it won't be ready for another 9 years.
Wait, Wes. Listen, don't hang up. Look, there's a reason I called. We're actually working on another Nightmare movie.
Wow, really? Well, I hope it turns out better than the last one.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If we don't knock it out of the park this time, it could kill the franchise, and we don't want that. Do you think maybe you could help us out?
Jeez, I don't know, Phil. After last time...
It won't be like last time, I swear. Come on, do you even have any ideas?
Well, we could have another group of teens that are dreaming about Krueger.
Okay.
And they're all in rehab.
Okay, I like it.
And Nancy is back, and she's their counselor.
Oh, now that's brilliant.
We could have all kinds of kills for each victim's personality.
Yes, I love it. Like, we can have one of the kids be a pot-smoking video game addict, and Freddy puts him in the game and makes him hop all around, and then...
Why don't I come up with the kills, okay? Now, we need to think of a way for Freddy to return.
Oh, I got it. Freddy comes back because a dog pisses on his bones.
What? That is just stupid.
Hey, we're just spitballing here, okay? Don't take it seriously.
Okay, we'll work on a way for Freddy to come back later.
Oh, here's something. When he does come back, we can have him fly in on a broom, like the witch from Wizard of Oz.
Are you serious? What sense does that make?
It'll be kind of wacky. The fans will love it.
Phil, if you want me to come back to the franchise, you have to promise me none of these ideas of yours will be in this movie.
Okay, Wes. I promise you that none of these will be in this movie.
Why did you put emphasis on this?
Oh, that's just how I talk sometimes. Like, now, this call is over. I'm going to call the team and tell them that you're on board.
Okay. Tell you what. I'll go write up some more ideas. I'll combine a couple of days. We'll take it from there.
Okay, sure. Goodbye.
Yeah. Bye, Phil.
Okay, Wes is on board, and we got ideas for parts 4, 5, and 6. Today's been a good day.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, no idea how they got the audio. I mean, like, it was just a simple phone conversation, and we even got a little bit of audio after the exec was off the phone. So
Yeah, so it wasn't like the phone was recording. It's like somebody was just recording in the office.
yeah. And, I don't know what kind of audio they use. It seems like every time we get one of these little, some of this audio for something that happened, behind the scenes or even a simple phone call, seems like all the voices always sound alike somehow. But, hey, what can I say? It's old audio from some, ancient recording techniques they had in the 80s, so who knows?
Which is somehow amazing in that both sound like neither one is on the phone.
Yeah, which is weird, too, because... we can't do that these days, so...
It's that movie magic, man.
Mm-hmm. But, anyway, guys, that is Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, The Dream Warriors. All in all, I really liked it. It definitely one of the highlights in the series. So, check it out. And... that was a request from Heather. Heather, thank you so much for that. Again, that was a good pick. She said this is her favorite in the series, and I can see her point. I really do. So, guys, we hope you enjoyed it. Check out the movie. If you have any movie suggestions for us, you have a number of ways to get those suggestions to us. You can do it the old-fashioned way by emailing us at graveyardshiftpod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter at GYS_horrorpod. And you can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/thegraveyardshiftpod. And as well as on Instagram, just go to instagram.com/thegraveyardshiftpod. If you're feeling especially generous and you want to help with some of the costs of publishing, producing the show, you can make a donation at www.patreon.com/graveyard. For just $1 a month, you get to help out the show greatly with some of our expenses. Plus, you get instant access to our Patreon exclusive bonus content. Each month, we put up a new Patreon bonus episode that only our Patreon donors get access to. We do it a little bit different than what we do in the regular feed. The episodes can be pretty much whatever we think of in the spur of the moment. Sometimes we do review a movie, but we actually go through a full synopsis of the movie, not just the good and the bad like we do here. We try out some other stuff, like our best of lists, things like that. So go check it out. Of course, we understand if you don't have the funds to give us some funds, but you can still help us out a ton. Rate, review, subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher or on the Podbean app. However you find our show, I'm sure there's some kind of rating system, so you can help us out there. Or
are we on Spotify yet?
I believe we are, yes. So you can check us out there. And even on our social media on Facebook, give us a rating right there. It helps us out a lot. And of course, if none of that is possible, or you just don't feel like doing a rating or a review, then please just share us on your social media with anyone you think would be interested, or just share us by word of mouth. Let people know that there's a show you listen to with a couple of guys talking about horror movies. If that's their thing, then tell them to give us a listen. So, Mike, other than your amazing contributions to the Graveyard Shift, what else do you have going on in podcast world?
Well, you can listen to the new episode of Technobabble, my science and technology discussion podcast with my, with my usual flair, and along with my co-host Richard Reeder. And you can find that on Geek Fallout Productions Facebook page and iTunes feed. Like, there's reasons that it's not called Technobabble because it's got a whole bunch of other episodes of what the show used to be, and so to keep the archive, we're keeping the name, but Technobabble is the only new show on the network at this time. And I also review each and every issue of Nintendo Power Magazine, first to last, front to back, until I run out of issues. So if you want the show to keep going, you can hook me up with some scans. And we read Nintendo Power Magazine. We talk about the articles, the game coverage, what's coming up. They talk about the technology inside each and every each game cartridge or system. So it's just great to take a blast of the past and also talk about some deplorable, terrible things we heard on the internet.
And the name of that podcast is?
The Playing with Power Podcast, a mature Nintendo Power retrospective.
Yeah, the name's kind of important there, Mike.
Oh, I thought I said it. Fuck. It's late.
It is. It's very late here. I'm getting sleepy and I'm out of scotch. So... yeah, check it out. No, both of them are great shows, and I'm really looking forward to a new episode of Technobabble after all that time. And Playing with Power podcast is always great. If you're a fan of old Nintendo games or you had a subscription to Nintendo Power Magazine back in the day, check it out. It's a good time. I really like it. And it's got a special place in my heart, seeing as it was the catalyst of what started this podcast. It's what made the Graveyard Shift come about. So kind of owe it. So... yeah, make sure to check that out. You guys have a huge back catalog now. You've been doing great. Playing with Power podcast for what, like 3 years now?
About 2 years. We've got about 2.5, I think. We're on the 83rd issue, 84th.
Right. So yeah, and you got a lot of episodes to catch up on there if you just start. Yeah. But check them out; they're really good.
Oh, we also do on that same feed. We also do a show called The Taste Test, where we play old video games and just give our thoughts on them. And this is where I first started doing skits.
Mm-hmm. That's where Mike honed his comedy genius. So guys, check it out. No, seriously, they're great shows. I think you might like them. And thank you again for joining us. We really do appreciate it. Please come back next week where we're going to be reviewing another movie, another fan suggestion. So can't wait for that one. Until then, I'm Sheldon.
And I'm Mike.
And thank you again for joining us on The Graveyard Shift.
Bitch.
We're the Dream Warriors. Something no more.
And you might about tomorrow you might be gone. 'Cause you've got the touch.
It's like an 80 Technos playlist.